Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Coffee, where in today's episode, we will discuss the possibilities of what Finn was going to tell Rey during The Rise of Skywalker. Then, we will take a look at the evidence presented in the film, and finally, we will conclude with some quotes from J.J. Abrams and John Boyega to help seal the deal of this discussion. That's today here on Star Wars Coffee.
I have spoken.
Hello there to all of the returning subscribers, but if you're new to the channel and you're just finding me for the first time, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button on this video and any other video from the channel that you check out, and be sure to hit that notification bell so that the bell is completely filled in, as this is the way you will never miss a new video the second it goes live.
Do it!
Before we go any farther, I want to throw out a spoiler warning for anybody who hasn't seen The Rise of Skywalker yet, as there will be some spoilers from the film in this video, so please consider this your spoiler warning. With that being said and out of the way, we're going to take a look at some of the discussions that fans are having after coming out of The Rise of Skywalker as to what Finn was going to tell Rey but never got the chance to. We're going to take a look at this article from Screen Rant to help us do that by Anna Dumarog, titled Rise of Skywalker, What Finn Was Going to Tell Rey and Never Did. Finn repeatedly attempts to tell Rey something seemingly very important in Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, only to be interrupted. What was it? Quote, Finn wanted to tell Rey something seemingly important in Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, but unfortunately he never got the chance. While the film didn't reveal what it was, there are a couple of distinct possibilities as to what he was meaning to share, considering their history together and what's happening in the film. Two of the three main trio in the sequel trilogy, the third member being Oscar Isaac's Poe Dameron, Rey and Finn's journey as members of the Resistance started almost at the same time, meeting in Jakku after Finn's escape from the First Order as a former stormtrooper. They both joined General Leia Organa and her cause to fight the evil Supreme Leader Snoke and his minions. They didn't spend much time together in Star Wars The Last Jedi, but their bond remained tight, leading into the events of The Rise of Skywalker, where they, alongside Poe, spend most of their part of the film together. Throughout their last adventure, there were numerous times that Finn attempted to tell Rey something, and in all scenarios, he's cut off. Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker never got the chance for the two of them to have a one-on-one talk, leaving fans curious as to what it could be about. Considering that number of instances that Finn wanted to bring it up, it's safe to say that it's something quite important. One of the discussions is Finn wanted to tell Rey he loves her. The first plausible scenario is that Finn wanted to confess his love for Rey in Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. From the moment they met, there was an instant bond between the characters, although it was clear that when Finn met, more smitten with Rey than the other way around. While there was never a confirmation that Finn was romantically attracted to Rey, much of the former Stormtrooper's arc revolved around his instinct to keep her safe. If it wasn't for Rey's commitment to the Resistance, he would have fled and turned his back on the cause against the First Order. This could also explain why nothing came out of the potential love line between Finn and Kelly Marie Tran's Rose, despite the latter professing her love for him in The Last Jedi. Second discussion, Finn wanted to tell Rey he has the Force. Another possibility is that Finn was trying to tell Rey that he too, like her, has the ability to use the Force. This particular tidbit was only revealed in Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, albeit not an explicit manner. The film was peppered with evidence that he's Force sensitive, including how he instantly knew that Kylo Ren's Adam Driver is coming for Rey and which Star Destroyer hovering over Exegol had the fleet's aviation system. Similar to how Rey felt when Leia's Carrie Fisher and Luke's Mark Hamill passed away. Finn felt that when he was his scavenger turned Jedi friend briefly died following her duel with the returning Emperor Palpatine, he also constantly referred to that feeling he had on certain things that proved to be correct. Given that Rey's the only person he had direct contact with that's also Force sensitive, perhaps Finn was reaching out for guidance. It's also worth noting that in Star Wars The Force Awakens posters, Finn was also armed with a lightsaber, giving fans the impression that he'll be the Force user in this narrative. That didn't come to fruition in The Last Jedi, but with J.J. Abrams also helming The Rise of Skywalker, Maybe this is his way of fulfilling the arc he intended for Finn. That's the end of the article, but there's one thing I'd like to say that they got wrong in the last paragraph. Finn also had interactions with Leia, who is also Force sensitive. Minor point though. Either way, those are the two camps that fans are split in. Whether Finn was trying to tell Rey that he loves her, and whether it was that he is Force sensitive. So going deeper into this, looking at some quotes from J.J. Abrams and John Boyega. J.J. Abrams confirms via the Academy screening of The Rise of Skywalker that what Finn wanted to tell Rey was that he is indeed Force sensitive. Twitter user Kylo Ren at AR1ASTER says, quote, "I had the privilege of attending the Academy screening of The Rise of Skywalker today, and JJ confirmed that Finn wanted to tell Rey that he's Force sensitive." And then they have a photo there of them at the event to prove that they were there. And if we go farther, we can take a look that this matches up with an interview that John Boyega gave to Entertainment Weekly's James Hibbard on December 6th, 2019, with that article being titled, "John Boyega on whether Finn still has a crush on Rey in The Rise of Skywalker." Quote, "In Star Wars The Force Awakens, when fugitive stormtrooper Finn first meets scavenger Rey, he seems pretty smitten, and the story appeared to tease the idea that the two could be a couple. From their 'stop holding my hand, meet cute,' to Finn asking Rey if she has a boyfriend, to Han Solo seeing right through Finn to warn women always figure out the truth, to Rey giving him a kiss on the forehead. But in The Last Jedi, the duo was largely kept apart, while a new character, Resistance engineer Rose Tico, was introduced and gave Finn a kiss after the battle on Crait. So now here comes The Rise of Skywalker, which picks up after a time jump from the events in The Last Jedi. With the fate of the Resistance at stake, there's probably not too much time for romance. But is Finn's Rey crush still even there?" John Boyega tells Entertainment Weekly, "I don't feel like it is. I don't know. The Rose Finn saga, I still don't know what that is yet. I think for Finn there's a bit of confusion as to what happens in real life. You're feeling somebody else more than the other, and things pop up. I think Finn is in a bit of confusion. Despite all the lightsaber stuff and the fate of the world, Finn is still in his early 20s going on through. As for his old friendship with Poe Dameron, which, yes, is just platonic, and Isaac recently made that clear in another interview, says, quote, "Oscar and I always wanted more together, and J.J. Abrams gave us the opportunity. We've gone a lot missions between the last movie and this one, so it's a real opportunity to show some real chemistry that Oscar and I have in real life, which makes it much more enjoyable for everybody to watch." More broadly, John Boyega says Finn has evolved from the first two films and is now very focused on the Resistance cause. John says, quote, "He's after what everybody else is now. He doesn't just think about himself. This is like the final stand, and Finn is about defeating the bad guys in front of him and the very movement that kept him from knowing who he truly is." Obviously, the main takeaway from both J.J. Abrams and John Boyega here is that Finn was going to tell Rey that he's Force sensitive, with J.J. literally coming out and saying that, and then John Boyega saying, whether it's Finn's Rey's crush is still there, saying, "I don't feel like it is." So that puts that to rest, which camp you were in. If you were in the Force Awakens camp where it was Rey loves her, or whether you were in this new one where he was Force sensitive. Personally, while I was watching the film, I thought he was going to tell Rey that he loves her, but apparently, as the film continued to progress, there was indeed a lot of evidence peppered in there to suggest that Finn is indeed Force sensitive, and by the end of the movie, I feel like it was a foregone conclusion that Finn was indeed Force sensitive and that couldn't even be disputed. The question was whether is that what he was trying to tell Rey, and it would appear that yes, that is what he was trying to tell Rey, because if you take a look, the scene in question happens on Act 1, when they're all on Pasaana at the Aki Aki Festival, and they're all drowning into this type of quicksand, where they end up going into the tunnel to see the Sand Viper. Because this happens in Act 1, so obviously this is when Finn was trying to tell Rey something when he thought that they were all going to die. Yet, as you continue to progress through the film, then, only then, after all of that happened, do you realize that Finn is very much likely Force sensitive, and by the end of the movie, like I said, it's a foregone conclusion that Finn is indeed Force sensitive. All of the evidence laid out where he was able to, in The Force Awakens, take the sense that Kylo Ren was destroying that Hosnian system, And then when you go into The Rise of Skywalker, and you can tell Finn knew where to go, he knew what the aviation system was, he was able to tell when Rey had died after she had defeated Palpatine. And when you put all of these tidbits of evidence together, it's very obvious that Finn is indeed Force sensitive. So the only discrepancy is, why did Finn try and tell Rey so early on in the movie? Now, we as viewers don't know that. However, there was a 1-year time gap between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, so Finn obviously could have been exploring this while Rey was doing her training, because clearly they were on that jungle base for the year. So Finn could have taken this note and just not told Rey because he was unsure of if he was actually Force sensitive or not. And now, by the end of the movie, when he was telling Jannah, the Force is indeed real. Essentially, that's Finn confirming he now knows that he has the Force. So, I'm very glad to see that Finn is indeed Force sensitive, and that this is what Finn was trying to tell Rey. Probably because Finn wanted to be trained as a Jedi and wield that lightsaber again. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching, may God bless you, and the Force be with you. If you enjoyed this episode, and frankly, even if you didn't, don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to help spread the word, please give this video a thumbs up and tell your friends to subscribe. Please check out the official Star Wars Coffee merchandise, and don't forget to check out all of the content playlists on this channel, including The Rise of Skywalker, The Mandalorian, and much more.